May you find happiness and peace, and may your home stand the test of time.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be reacting to another video from Charlie Kirk. Today's video is titled Never Before Seen Abortion Debate with Charlie Kirk. So without further ado, let's get started.
I'm wondering what your stance are on abortion and how you respond to the Thompson Violinist case.
The second part, I'm sorry?
The Thompson Violinist case?
Oh yeah, I've heard it. I mean, happy to
sure
go through it again. But yes, under the hypothetical that will never happen, I'm happy to.
That's what thought experiments are for.
Right. I mean, but I don't need a thought experiment when it comes to abortion. But you want to tell people what the violinist abstraction is?
I'd be happy to. So tomorrow morning, as will probably happen, you're going to wake up in your hotel room. I'm going to be right next to you in bed, and you're going to be hooked up to me. My blood is going to be going into your kidneys and then back into my body, and that's going to be necessary for me to survive. If you unplug me, I die.
For how long?
For 9 months.
Okay.
9
so
years.
Again, to
long.
play this out again. How did it happen though?
Oh, it was against their will.
Oh, really? So rape.
Sure.
Okay, so that's only less than 1% of all abortions. So the thought experiment doesn't apply to the other 99% of abortions where it's consensual sex. Do you agree?
Okay.
So the thought experiment is on the fringe of any applicability, but under that thought experiment and that abstraction, yes, to be consistent, to save a life, I personally would give part of my kidney to save somebody's life for 9 months, yes.
You couldn't leave the bed for 9 months.
Well, pregnant women are not bedridden.
Some are.
Very rarely. So I don't know what you're talking about. I mean,
right,
if you go into preterm labor around like 25 or 26 weeks, maybe with like magnesium treatment, you go to bed rest for 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, sure.
Are you familiar with that?
It's not a perfect analogy, but
it's not a good analogy at all. But
it's a pretty good one.
So let me ask you a question. When does life begin?
Why is that? That's impossible to define. It's impossible to define. I think so. Life is very abstract.
Are you alive?
I'd like to think so.
Okay. Are the people around you alive?
As far as I know.
Okay. What gives you that belief?
Intuition.
Intuition, not the fact that they're breathing, or we could take their pulse rate, or their heart is working, they have brain waves, consciousness.
We can go all the way to idealism. Like, what if you can't know anything for sure? Okay. Can I ask you this?
You're way overthinking it. Let me be honest.
Maybe I am.
I think so.
But do you think if somebody, not you, hooked themselves up to someone in bed, said they were going to commit to the 9 months, do you think they had the ability to?
People do that all the time. It's called being a kidney donor.
It's so different.
Millions of people give away kidneys, livers, all the time for people that need it. Strangers, in fact.
Do you think they're morally obligated to do so?
Let me give you another example. If you're stranded on an island, and one of your organs that you personally do not need to survive could help that other person on the island you're with, 2 people on an island, you are morally obligated to give one of those organs to that person so that they could survive. Otherwise, it would be at least manslaughter, at worst murder. Yes.
Okay. Well, I think it's just a difference of opinion at that point. I think you'd be a very, very good person to do so. Maybe even just
okay. So we agree. So there's a morality. So we have now built a good in sacrificing something you might not need but can inconvenience you to help somebody else. So therefore, is the inverse bad? If it's good to sacrifice part of what you don't need to help somebody else, is it therefore bad not to do that thing?
I think you have a right to your own stuff. Like you were saying with socialism, you have a right to your own stuff, and if you give it to help somebody, you're a very nice person for doing so, but I don't think you're morally obligated.
Well, you said good before. Nice and good are 2 different words. That's okay, though. But so if you have, let me ask you another question. It's just another hypothetical. You happen to be in a deserted town. Somebody's starving to death. They haven't eaten for 30 days. You happen to have, 2 Big Macs. You really want them both, and that Big Mac will save their life. If you don't give that Big Mac and they starve to death, what kind of a person are you?
Kind of a shitty person.
So how is that any different than somebody saying, hey, a woman saying, I'm pregnant, it's not what I wanted, I might have to go through 9 months that might not be the easiest 9 months of my life, but another human being gets to enjoy the beauty of life?
I think it can be an act without doing anything morally wrong. Does that make sense? And at this point, I think we just differ.
Yeah, I mean, being a jerk and being evil are 2 different things. I would agree. But terminating a baby is not being a jerk.
Fetus.
So what does fetus mean in Latin?
I don't speak Latin.
Yeah, little human. Oh. So the little human. What
does it mean in English?
What does fetus mean in?
What does it mean in English?
Yeah, little human.
Unborn baby.
Right. So the reason people use fetus because it makes
Same
themselves
thing.
feel good.
Okay.
Because they don't want to use the word baby because they want to try to cloak the horror of abortion. So they say, oh, it's a fetus, as if it's like a rhinoceros or if it's like a giraffe. No, it's the same species as a human. It's just not as big as you are or as advanced as you are. So it feels better to be able to terminate that being. But I could see you're coming after this in a good way. If I were to ask you a question, should we try to limit suffering on Earth?
Obviously.
Okay. So if I tell you that the majority of abortions that occur, the baby feels pain, should we probably stop doing that?
Well, it's not that simple, obviously. You're making it simple because obviously giving birth causes a lot of pain too. And if you try
No,
to balance-
I'm making the complex simple because it's actually not that complex.
Okay.
Here's what college does is it makes the very simple moral questions so complex that you have to keep on borrowing money you don't have to keep on getting these degrees to overthink good and evil that somebody on the side of the street can easily say murder is wrong.
That's true.
It doesn't take that much like deep and profound thinking.
I wasn't overcomplicating it. I was bringing up the reality that someone who gives birth goes through pain. And
Well,
you
they-
went on a
they-
tangential speech about college, which had
Well,
nothing to do with what we're talking about.
they do go through pain, but it's, thanks to modern medicine, it's not as much pain as it used to be. So you
Still
can
pain.
you can get an epidural. It's also 1 out of 3 of births in this country are done by cesarean section. So, but so good. Thank you. Any other questions or?
Do you want to fry?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
I think I love this debate. I love the fact that Charlie was able to clarify things with this guy and make him see reason why abortion is not the right way to go about things. And I feel like it's true because letting you know that let's say if I was okay, we are all here because of the choices our parents decide to make. They decided to keep us, and that is why we are here. So the thing is, the best thing for us to do is to do that to the next person. And he was talking about unplugging the kidney, whatever. But I feel like if people are claiming that maybe they got pregnant through rape or something, it's just the number are just minimum. So how are we going to detect people that go through pregnant with rape or the normal way or conceptual? The thing is, it does not matter, even if it's rape, even if it's consensual. The thing is, the end result is a child. So the thing is, the act has happened. Let's see the end result is bringing another human being to this world. If the baby don't want to come in, I don't think that's what's it called? The egg would have fertilized. The baby is trying, struggle, get to the egg, fertilize, start growing, and now you feel like you don't want the baby anymore. I feel like it's not fair. It's a decision that the both of you have to take. Let the baby come. If the baby decide that he or she don't want to be here, the baby can decide to go. Sometimes you don't need to kill that baby. Sometimes you see, I've seen baby come, they stay like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they're gone. Sometimes they are here, they stay for a lifetime. Sometimes I've seen children that were not even planned to be here, and when they come, they make history, they change, they bring out things that would help us. Just imagine you taking a decision to abort a child, your parents did not bring you. Then you would have not even had the right to take that decision. But this is a beautiful one. I enjoy Charlie because I love like the angle he's coming from. He's letting us know that no matter how you paint it, what is bad is bad. Even if you call it it's a fetus or so, it's still a child. Even if the baby is like a day old, a few hours old, it's still a child. So the best thing is let the baby come here, let the baby experience this beautiful world of ours, let the baby decide for itself. Anyway, I love this, like I said before, and I want to see more videos like this. So if you have any recommendation, let me know in the comment section. If it is your first time visiting the channel, click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I remember this.